All right, let's just dive right in. Welcome to This Explainer. I'm your host, your energetic stickman guide for today. And man, we are about to unpack something I guarantee literally every single one of us is guilty of: the fascinating psychology behind our cinematic obsessions. We're going to figure out exactly why certain movies become so deeply, unavoidably addictive. Seriously, tell me if this sounds familiar. You're chilling on the couch, scrolling through the endless void of streaming options, and what do? You end up throwing on Titanic or The Dark Knight for the, 10th time? You know exactly how it ends. You know every single joke, every plot twist, every iconic line of dialogue. So why in the world do we keep hitting replay instead of just watching something new? Well, to figure this all out, we're going to explore the brain's map of movie addiction. We're hitting four main stops today. First, the chemical high. Second, the comfort hook. Third, the design hook. And finally, number four, the memory hook. Let's get to it. All right, stop number one, the chemical high, chasing that cinematic feeling. You know, as humans, we really like to believe we're these highly rational creatures, right? We think we choose our entertainment completely logically based on, Oscar wins or perfect review scores. But actually, scratch that. In reality, we choose emotionally. When it finally comes down to hitting play, our emotions are almost always in the driver's seat. And it all really comes down to two big players in the brain: dopamine and oxytocin. When a movie makes us absolutely burst out laughing, or cry when we totally weren't expecting it, or just feel this massive surge of excitement, our brains release these powerful chemicals. It's like our brain's way of rewarding us, baking in these incredibly positive emotional memories. So the wild thing here is that when you sit down to rewatch a favorite film, you aren't just revisiting a story. You are actually, literally, actively self-medicating. You are chasing a chemical high to relive those powerful, feel-good emotions all over again. Which brings us to part two, the comfort hook, and the safety of the familiar. Okay, so this introduces something called parasocial attachment. It sounds super academic, but it's basically this wild psychological phenomenon where we emotionally invest in fictional characters exactly as if they were real personal friends in our everyday lives. Just think about iconic characters for a second: Batman, Harry Potter, Iron Man, Jack Sparrow. Because filmmakers are basically hacking our empathy, making us care so deeply about their struggles and dreams, our brains respond as if we actually know them. Returning to these characters doesn't just feel like watching a movie, it literally feels exactly like visiting old friends. Just compare these two environments for a second. Real life, well, it's uncertain, it's stressful, full of work pressures, bills, the whole shebang. But familiar movies, they are completely predictable and entirely safe. We know exactly what's going to happen, and hey, we have guaranteed survival for our heroes. During difficult, stressful periods in our lives, we actively crave this predictable comfort. It acts like this incredible emotional safe space where everyday worries just, poof, disappear. Moving right along to our third stop, the design hook, or how filmmakers basically hack our attention. So why do mystery movies, intense thrillers, and these massive franchises keep us so deeply hooked? It's all about something called the curiosity gap. See, when your mind encounters an unanswered question, it gets genuinely uncomfortable. It's like an itch you can't scratch. We naturally seek closure, and filmmakers use suspense to intentionally activate this gap. They are essentially holding our attention hostage until we finally get the answers we're craving. Another absolutely massive design hook is a storytelling pattern that's literally been around for thousands of years: the hero's journey. It goes like this. Step one, a normal person faces some crazy challenge and struggles. Step two, they grow stronger. And step three, they finally overcome the obstacles. Why does this work so incredibly well every single time? Because our brains absolutely eat this pattern up. It mirrors real life. We all face problems, right? So watching characters succeed against all odds gives us hope and real inspiration for our own real-life struggles. We basically get to experience a massive victory through their journey. Filmmakers also lean heavily on unforgettable visual spectacles. We're talking massive, epic battles, stunningly beautiful landscapes, groundbreaking special effects, and these crazy, colorful, futuristic worlds. And the science behind why this matters is super cool. The human brain processes images way, way faster than words. Visually stunning moments just burn deeply into our minds, creating these super strong memories. Sometimes a single, absolutely iconic visual scene is so spectacular that it alone keeps us coming back for more. And that leads us to our final section, number four, the memory hook. We're talking nostalgia, community, and connection. Look, you can never, ever underestimate the incredible power of music. Soundtracks act as literal emotional time machines. A powerful score dictates exactly how a scene feels, whether it's joyful, heroic, or completely terrifying. Over time, our brains literally wire specific songs to specific emotions. Just hearing a few notes of a beloved theme song can instantly transport us back in time, plugging us directly into the raw, intense emotions we felt during our very first viewing. Which brings us to nostalgia, truly one of the strongest psychological forces out there. In reality, we aren't just revisiting a movie, we are revisiting memories. When we sit down to watch a film from our childhood, it's almost always tied to happy experiences, maybe family gatherings, and just simpler times. By rewatching, we aren't just hitting play on a piece of media. We're basically attempting to vividly recreate the warmth of our own past. But remember, movies aren't just these isolated, lonely experiences. Consider the power of shared experiences. We talk about films with our friends, we endlessly quote memorable lines to each other, we debate our favorite characters, and we share huge emotional reactions online. When millions of people love the exact same movie, it creates this incredibly powerful fan community. And that community fulfills a fundamental human need for connection and belonging. This right here is exactly why blockbuster franchises are so unbelievably successful at building long-term relationships with audiences over years and years of sequels. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, kind of thought-provoking question. Next time you hit play on a movie you've already seen a dozen times, ask yourself, what memory are you really rewatching? Because as we've learned today, you aren't just consuming media. You are sparking a chemical reward, you are seeking the safety of the familiar, you're closing a curiosity gap, and most importantly,